Another favorite pastor here. Pastor Wiles, were you under the impression you were going to give our invocation this evening? No, we're good. We got a really good mix-up because we even have a third person on our list, too. Well, we appreciate everybody for stepping up to the plate. Thank you, Pastor. Item 5 is report on closed session items. Mr. Dunn.
Thank you, Mayor. The council met in closed session to discuss the items noted on the agenda, including labor negotiations and some potential litigation, but no reportable action was taken tonight.
Thank you. Item 6 is presentation announcement. 6A's presentation by Livestream Blood Bank. Councilman Redd, did you want to make some comments before we started this? Very good. Who's here representing? There you are. Come on up, sir.
Good evening. I'm Michael Mcdaniel, Director of Donor Recruitment for Livestream Blood Bank. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, and honorable guests for having me this evening. I came to give you an update on the status of our blood supply and why we are still in a critical shortage and what the city can do to help. So real quick, Livestream has been the nonprofit blood bank for the Inland Empire and the Low Desert for the last 70 years. And our mission is very simple. We help save lives by connecting donors and patients through the gift of blood. We do this by partnering with over 80 hospitals in 6 counties, and it takes over 500 donations a day to keep up with that hospital demand. We do this by collecting blood at our fixed site centers, as well as over 1,600 mobile blood drives operated annually. Here you can see a map of our donor centers where you see the red pins, our active centers, and the 2 in blue will be opening later this year. So many of you probably remember January of this year when the American Red Cross declared for the first time in America's history a national blood crisis. Blood donations went up after they did that, which was great, but they have since slumped back. So we are less than 2 days on hand now, which we consider critical. Some of our blood supply, including O negative and O positive, are less than 0.5 days on hand. So when that happens, what we start to do is reaching out to our hospital partners and our city leaders like yourselves to make you aware of the risk to the community. Here you see a patient, 5-month-old. Her open heart transplant required 41 pints of blood. That's 41 individual people that had to come together just to save her. So I want to put that into perspective about what we're talking about here. An estimated, pardon, that's moving without me. About 37% of the population is eligible to donate, but less than 10% actually do. So how much blood is needed? Well, about every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. will need blood. 1 in 7 people walking into a U.S. hospital are going to need it. And this is the really scary statistic. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men will develop cancer in their lifetime. If you're going to fight cancer with chemo and radiation, you're going to have to replenish the red cells and the platelets that treatment kills. Platelets only last 5 days, so those cancer patients desperately need that. Here you can see for cancer treatment, it takes about 8 units a week. A coronary artery bypass, about 5, auto accidents and gunshot wounds, which we have seen more than enough of lately, are up to 50 units a victim. A liver transplant is 100 units. We average in Southern California 1 liver transplant per day, and I am counting weekends. That's just on livers. Other organ transplants, about 10 units, brain surgery, 4 to 10, and a fractured hip, about 5. Here are some common myths very quickly about blood donation that I'd like to dispel. One is that it's painful. It's just like a shot. It's not that painful. Another, which is surprising to me, is that people think it makes you gain weight. Well, the opposite is true. You actually burn more calories replenishing what we've taken from your body, what you've donated. There's another myth that people are already giving enough. That's not true at all. In fact, I had a high schooler the other day at a presentation say, well, I thought they just made it in a lab. No, we don't. We do not have artificial blood, and we do not have enough around the nation. In fact, we don't have enough in Southern California. We are flying blood in once a week from Hawaii right now. We are a net importer of blood in Southern California. Another one is about the tattoos. If you've received a tattoo from a licensed parlor and it's healed, feel free to donate. If not, please wait 3 months and then donate. You can see the patterns. 2019, 2020, and 2021, hospital usage has clearly outpaced us, making us a net importer. So what has the city of Paris done? We've been running blood drives here since 1999. You're one of our longest standing cities, and we greatly appreciate that partnership. Last year, we did 180 pints over 11 drives, which was very good coming out of the pandemic. I want to challenge the city of Paris this year for just 400 pints. Now, to put that into perspective, with Paris's population, you need about 2,300 pints a year just to support yourselves. So asking you to basically double last year still doesn't come close to the usage that we see out of the city. So what can you do as a city council? Well, you can help us promote it. You're up there because you're influential people, but also because you know influential people, and they helped you get elected. So we're asking you, to the business partners that you may know, to the civic organizations that you're a part of, please promote us. Please ask them if they'll host a blood drive. It's that simple. If you can't be a donor, be an advocate. The other thing that you can do is you can actually add it to your city disaster preparedness plan. And we have some cities doing that now. And what this ensures is that the city is monitoring how much blood is on the shelf in case a mass trauma or mass casualty event occurs. If we see a shooting like we've seen out of Uvalde, Texas, that is easily a 1,000 pint or more event. When the city only has 180 donated in a year, you can see where we are going to run into a problem. So go to livestream.org. We would love to host a special city drive. We would love for people to volunteer to host a drive. We do have a regional account manager for this area. Her name is Sandy Hale. She's been with us for nearly 20 years, and I'm sure she would love nothing more than to wake up tomorrow morning with some emails about hosting a blood drive. At this time, before we pass out the gifts, I would like to entertain any questions the council or the mayor may have.
You're passing out blood?
We are going to pass out some beach towels and some T-shirts.
I was going to ask you, but you just put it up at the last slide, so that's good. We have a contact. And I'm just kind of curious, but I'm going to let my council first ask any questions they have, and I'll go last. Anybody? David?
Just for the public, I donate frequently at your San Bernardino location. Approximately how long does it take for a blood donation, and how long does it take for a platelet donation, considering you haven't filled out the express pass before going into your location?
You are very familiar with us. Thank you for bringing that up. It takes, as far as blood draw time, about 20 minutes for a normal donation. If you add another 10 minutes, you can do a double red cell, which saves even more lives. And for a platelet donation, it's about 2 to 3 hours, depending on the volume. Yep. Thank you.
So, I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Michael McDaniel.
Should I know? Michael. Michael, what's the norm if someone does, I mean, if you set up something in a public right-of-way area, I mean, there's no major, say, advertisement. Does your standalone truck alone bring in people that want to give blood?
No, so we refer to those as park and praise, and they bring in single digits. So we typically
So it's better to
see
have
8.
a planned event where it's advertised and all that.
Yeah, a great example is the city of Chino Hills, who runs a once-a-month blood drive, and they are averaging a little over 20 units per drive. They started that earlier this year and are seeing great success, so we would love to see other cities do that.
So when's the last time you did one on City Hall campus?
I can't think of the last time we
Oh,
did
so
one.
my city manager's going to organize one for you.
Well,
And
we would appreciate that very
we
much.
can definitely host that, I'm sure, on our, pardon me? We did one in November? 2019. We are going to happily start, you know, these numbers were very amazing what you're showing, so I think it's important, and I appreciate what you and all the other organizations do as well, so.
Thank you so much.
That'll be your first contact. Clara Miramontes. If not, let me know.
Will do.
Okay, thanks, Mike, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, presentation 6B is from the March Joint Powers Authority. This will be introduced by our management analysis, Mr. Armando Panchi.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council and City staff. My name is Armando Panchi. I am the business liaison for the City of Paris under the Economic Development Division, and also the management analyst for that division as well. Tonight, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Grace Martin, Executive Director of March Joint Powers Authority, to present a sponsorship to the Paris Veteran Memorial. But before I invite Dr. Martin to the podium, I would like to provide a brief background about the project. As you all remember, this last November, the city unveiled the Paris Veteran Memorial, which is located on First and D. And soon after it was unveiled, we did receive direction from our Economic Development Committee to work on a Veteran Memorial Plaque program. This program will allow community members to purchase a plaque that will be placed at the memorial in honor of their loved ones. The sponsorship was first presented to our Economic Development Committee, and at their direction, it was decided to use the funds for any future maintenance of the plaque program to cover things like vandalism or the replacement of any of the plaques that suffer any damage. So this will help us ensure that there's no additional cost to the city or to the residents in case that the plaque is or has to be replaced. With that, I would like to invite Dr. Grace Martin to the podium to present the sponsorship to the City of Paris.
Thanks, Armando. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, City Manager Miramontes, and city staff and members of the public. Dr. Grace Martin, I'm the Executive Director for the March Joint Powers Authority. We are the base reuse authority for the former March Air Force Base. We're redeveloping 3,500 acres of former military properties. We have about 1,000 acres to go. And to date, we have replaced the number of jobs that were lost by the DOD when they realigned the base back in 1996. So we're very proud of our performance, very proud to have Mayor and Councilmember Rogers on our commission. They actually gave us a budget to work on community services during the pandemic. Unfortunately, we didn't get out that much. So as part of our efforts to expend the funds that the JPA Commission allowed us to contribute to community service, we decided to contribute these funds to memorials, veterans memorials, for our 4 member agencies, the cities of Moreno Valley, Paris, Riverside, and the County of Riverside. So it's an honor for me because looking at this picture, I got a little bit emotional because I played a small part in the planning. It was such an honor to serve on the committee alongside with the Veterans Committee, but then also with our veterans organizations within the city. And so it's such a beautiful sight to see, and I'm especially honored in this seat from the JPA to donate $5,000 today to the City of Paris to your efforts in memorializing our veterans, those that served our country. And just wanted to state, I know a lot of you know, I'm an Army veteran. Right here with me is our new Deputy Director for the JPA. He's an Air Force veteran. Actually, his last service is out of March. So we're very proud to have him on board alongside with staff. So again, honored to present this check to you and would love to take a photo for our social media if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sir? Come on in, guys.
Hi, long time no see. Go right in there.
That's how we work close and the guys. Okay, one more, hold on. 18. You gonna do this next month too? If I gotta keep the check,
Oh, I'm sorry. You can keep that.
don't bounce it on the way to be. See you again. Spend it all in one time. Yeah. Comments, anybody? Councilman Redd?
Oh, yes. Just want to thank Dr. Martin for her work, and securing the spot and moving forward with the Veterans Memorial. And just going back to the first presentation regarding blood donation, it's crucial that everyone make an effort to donate blood. It's a very quick process. Most people won't feel too tired after donating. They have really good snacks too, so if you get a chance, donate. And the trail mix is amazing. I typically donate at the San Bernardino Donor Center. It's recently moved to Hospitality Lane, but there are numerous locations throughout the site, throughout the two counties. So you have an hour to spare. It takes about an hour to do the questions, and then the actual donations, he's right, about 20 minutes. So really, really consider donating, especially if you're one of the most needed blood types. So once again, thanks to the presenters.
Well, once you donate, Mike, does it make it quicker the next time?
Yes.
Once you're in the database?
Yes.
All right, anybody else? Dr. Martin, again, thank you very much. You're more than happy to come monthly with a check. We will accept it. But no, you were instrumental when we started up this committee, and it came to fruition. And this is something I started with 6 years ago when I first made mayor, and it's exciting to see that it's there. And I can't speak no more for it, but to thank all our veterans, and what you're doing with that donation will help us with our plaque program. So we really do appreciate it from the March Joint Powers Authority. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Item 7 is our Youth Advisory Committee communications. This report will be given by Savannah Herrera, the president of our Youth Advisory.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council and City staff, good afternoon. I am honored to be YAC's President, Savannah Herrera. Today, I'll be providing an update on YAC's latest and upcoming events. To begin, on Wednesday, May 18th, YAC participated in the Empower Your Mind. We truly enjoyed learning and becoming more aware of mental health. YAC is excited to participate in the upcoming event regarding mental health. Apart from this, YAC will be hosting Game Night on Friday, June 3rd from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Statler Youth Center. We are excited to learn a new twist to Open Mic Night and have lots of participation. Moving forward, Saturday, June 11th from 9 to 3, YAC will be participating in the 21st Annual Rods and Rails Extravaganza. We are sponsoring family games and the Paris Potato Band Scavenger Hunt. Apart from the updates, YAC would like to provide more information on Better Speech and Language Month. An important fact to keep in mind is hearing loss can increase with age. About 42% of 50-year-olds have faced a form of hearing loss. Additionally, the number increased to 71% in 70-year-olds, so it is important to make an ear exam appointment. Finally, YAC would like to remind everyone to please follow us on social media at Paris YAC for more updates and upcoming events. For more information on YAC or any events discussed today, feel free to dial the Statler Youth Center. YAC would like to remind everyone to remain healthy and safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item A is our public comments. This is the time when any member of the public can bring any matter to attention of the mayor and the city council that's not on our agenda. We will allow for 3-minute comments. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
Yes, sir. We have an Alex Alexander. You have the floor, sir.
Alex, if you're on, you got 3 minutes.
Thank you so much for having me. I guess you guys can't see my face, but I'm a local Scientologist here, and I have a complaint about the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. I was recently arrested for DWI, and I don't even drink. As a matter of fact, it was a total misunderstanding why the cop pulled me over. I had thought that I had seen Vin Diesel. I'm a huge Fast and the Furious fan. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie franchise, but for me, I love movies. That's one of the reasons I became a Scientologist. I love Tom Cruise. And if you guys haven't seen Top Gun, you guys, I really suggest everybody needs to go see that movie. It's absolutely incredible. But the problem with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department is they pulled me over because they thought that I was stalking someone because I was following a guy and it was in a red Lamborghini. It come to find out it was not Vin Diesel, but I had been following him for a few hours. I'd followed him at a restaurant. The guy was bald. I mean, he looked just like him. He could have been a Vin Diesel impersonator if you ask me. So they pulled me over because they said that the person had called in and said that I had been being suspicious or something like that, which, I mean, I'll be honest, I was a little suspicious. And I wasn't drinking, but I was so nervous when the cop pulled me over that I started to slur my words. I had recently been vaccinated, so I was a little lightheaded. I'd actually given blood that same day. But the police officer, the sheriff's department, they would not whatsoever, believe me. They just constantly thought I was drunk. They thought that I was on some sort of barbiturates. But people that follow Scientology know that, L. Ron Hubbard was strictly against any sort of pharmaceutical, any sort of alcohol, any sort of drugs whatsoever. And that I have thetans that I am trying to get out of my body through, intense therapy and psychotherapy and psychoanalysis. So I just would like it if Mayor Vargas, if you could do something to help me, because this is the problem. As a Scientologist, I constantly get demonized. My kids are bullied in school. My wife's boyfriend makes fun of me all the time. He was our pool boy, and then, once I had some performance issues, he ended up kind of seeing my wife, and we're kind of in this throuple situation. And she's a suppressive person. She left the church because he convinced her. So I'm losing my family. Now I have to, go into hardcore counseling and explain to them why I was charged with driving under the influence. And the police officer says they said they gave me a deal. Instead of charging me felony stalking, they're giving me a deal by charging me with DWI. But I don't drink alcohol. I mean, I'll be honest, in college, I used to take a little sniff or a little puff of what, but now I'm absolutely sober. All I care about is the teachings of Xenu, the intergalactic, board that we follow. That's all I care about. So I don't really like the justification that they used in order to put me in jail. And listen, I live in a great house. I'm a taxpayer. Like, my life was okay, other than my wife's boyfriend teasing me, and then the cruelty that my children face in school. Life was going good, but now I don't know. I could lose it all. I could lose my job. I work at a printing company.
Okay, Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
your time's up. If you want to set a meeting up with the mayor's office, please call City Hall and ask, and I'll be more than happy to sit down with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mayor Vargas. I'll set that up. I'll send an email right now.
All righty, thank you.
Mr.
Anybody
Mayor,
else?
we have a Marty Epstein. Sir, you have permission to talk now.
Marty, if you're on the line, you're,
Yes, can you hear me?
yes.
Great. So let me start off by saying it's unfortunate that we don't have a vaccine for gun violence, because if you look around, clearly the only way to cure this is a vaccine. Now, every time that I walk into a grocery store or into a school to pick my nieces and nephews up, I feel like I could get shot. I am at risk. And this is all stemming from one thing and one thing only, and that is white supremacy. My next door neighbor, he did the right thing. You know what he did? He took his AR-15, he took it out in the garage, and he destroyed it with a hammer. That is what we need. We need more people stepping up and doing those kind of things for the greater good. Now, like I said, gun violence stems from white supremacy, as you can see. I actually work for a news organization. It's called Far Left News. Now, this takes us back all the way to Nazi Germany, okay? Now, if it wasn't for Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler, we wouldn't have these MAGA, white supremacists running around our streets, just causing chaos and insurrections in Washington, D.C., where our amazing, brave politicians work, like AOC, Nancy Pelosi, and Hillary Clinton, people that I look up to and I've idolized since my youth. Now, it's just terrible to see these rednecks, these filthy, disgusting people who they hate gays, they hate vaccines, they hate black people, they hate minorities, they hate anything that has to do with science. They believe in this sky daddy, and it is absolutely absurd. We need to do this right now. We need to get rid of them. The same people who refuse to take the COVID vaccine and obey the science are the same ones who think we need AR-15s, and the same people who refuse to wear a mask are the same people who think that a handgun will protect them in public. It's absolutely absurd. You know what will protect you in public? A vaccine and a mask, because it's science, and I believe in it. I went to college. Not only did I get a degree in broadcasting, I got a degree in biology. It's basic biology. Now, let me tell you this. a friend of mine who worked with me, he got the COVID vaccine. He got both doses and he got fully boosted. He got COVID. He got COVID 2 weeks ago and he died. But let me tell you something. It would have been way worse if he did not have the vaccine. His death would have been 50 times worse. The last words that came out of his mouth on that deathbed, and that.
Okay, Mr. Epstein, your time's up. Thank you. IT, anybody else?
No, sir.
All righty. You want to make a comment? Come on up, state your name.
Hello. My legal name is Alejandro Marin, but everyone knows me as Alex. I just got back from school, and I wrote this little paragraph. Nothing crazy like that, I promise. I promise. But I do love the freedom of speech, though, so that's pretty funny. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. I'm here today to start a conversation on a certain subject that should concern all current and future Paris residents. Whenever a new development is approved, there are requirements that the applicant must meet, and one of those requirements are parking minimums. The City of Paris uses parking generation rates and outdated guidebook of statistical data from the Institution of Transportation Engineers to source parking minimums. The head of this institution said to stop using it. It is based on groundless measurements and is not required today. In the urban planning world, parking minimums are seen as the astrology of city planning because it's illogical to use as such measurements in the real-world applications. Paris should take the initiative for all cities in California to finally replace parking minimums with parking maximums. Parking maximums are the most common way to place parking all around the world, except for this country. The US is a car-dominated country, not by chance, but by design. Being a car-centric country comes with a huge price. Last year, there was a recorded 43,000 deaths on roads, the highest ever recorded. The state is hammering all cities in California to approve for more housing, as we know. But the state is hammering all cities in California to approve for more housing. But as we all know, land to build housing on is scarce, and having to dedicate so much space for parking is a waste. Our city's population will take a boom this year. I'm not against that. Because population growth is good for the economy, it's good for the culture, it's good for tax revenue. But it comes with consequences. And to reduce those bad consequences, you gotta replace parking minimums with parking maximums. That's pretty much it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Or Marin, excuse me. Anybody else? Okay, we're gonna move on to item 9, which is our approval of minutes. 9A is consideration to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on May 10th, 2022 of the City Council, successor agency to the redevelopment agency, and all the others as listed on the agenda. If there are no comments or questions by council, I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Councilman Corona, second by Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Corona and Councilman Rab. Please call roll call vote.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rab,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas,
Yes.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 10 is our consent calendar. Consent calendar items are normally enacted in one motion. The mayor or city council may remove a consent calendar item for a separate action. We will have public comment limited to 3 minutes. Before I open up the public comment, any council have any comments or requests or any items they wish to pull? All right, I don't see any. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience at this time wishing to pull some or speak on this? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Corona, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call a roll call vote.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rab,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 11 is our public hearings. 11A is consideration to adopt proposed resolution numbers next in order, approving annexation of DPR 20-00011 to the city maintenance districts. DPR 20-00011 is located at the southwest corner of Ryder Street and Wilson Avenue. This item will be introduced by our city engineer, Stuart McKibben.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to introduce Daniel Louie from Will Down Financial.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. This project, DPR 20-00011, is the construction of a 248,000 square foot industrial building at the southwest corner of Ryder Street and Wilson Avenue. As a condition of approval, the project is required to annex into the city's 3 maintenance districts to pay for benefits and annual costs associated with this property once it is developed. The proposed maximum annual assessment for the project is $13,784.43. On March 29th, the City Council approved resolutions initiating the annexations of the project and set the public hearing for tonight. At this time, staff is asking the mayor to open and close public hearings. Following the hearing, the city clerk is to open the ballots. There's 1 ballot per district. If there's no majority protest, then the city council can consider the approval of the resolutions confirming the annexations. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Council, anybody have any questions or clarifications before I open the public hearing? All right, seeing none in the queue, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this particular item? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing, and I'll ask the city clerk to open up the 3 ballots.
City of Paris annexation of DPR 20-00011 to benefit Zone 163, Landscape Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of DPR 20-00011 to benefit Zone 129, Flood Control Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of DPR 20-00011, Maintenance District Number 84-1. The ballot is marked yes.
Thank you. Can you verify in the first ballot, it sounded like you only said 20-0011. Is it 00011?
20-00011.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve if no one has any more questions. I have a motion by Councilman Rab, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call a roll call vote.
Councilmember Nava,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona,
Yes.
Councilmember Rab,
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers,
Yes.
Mayor Vargas.
Yes,
5-0, motion approved.
thank you. Okay, 11B is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, approving annexation of DPR 20-00011 to the Community Facilities District, CFD 2001-3, which is the North Paris Public Safety District. This is located at the southwest corner of Ryder Street and Wilson Avenue. And this will be presented by Daniel Louis again, I presume. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and council members, I would actually like to introduce this item as well as the next item since they pertain to the same project. They are required separate public hearings, but I would like to introduce them at one time, if that's okay.
City Attorney?
Yes, Mayor, that would be fine.
Okay, so this project is, again, DPR 20-00011, owned by Ryder Business Center, is annexing into the Public Safety CFD 2001-3. The Public Safety CFD was formed in 2002 to fund the additional public services needed for the city to develop. At the meeting on April 12th, 2022, the City Council adopted a resolution of intention declaring the intention to annex certain territories to the district and setting the public hearing for tonight. Therefore, the city is requested to open a public hearing on the annexation. If there are no protests, adopt a resolution calling for a special election. The property owner has waived the waiting period, so we may conduct the special election tonight. And finally, once the election is conducted, adopt a resolution declaring the results of election. And these same procedures would follow for annexing into CFD 2018-2, which is the Public Services CFD, which was formed in 2018 to provide funds for maintenance costs of the public services as the city's trail system. So with that, that concludes my presentation, and I will be here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Daniel. Mr. Dunn, just to confirm, we'll have two separate votes though, right?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would suggest opening the public hearing on item B.
Right.
And then moving forward with the first resolution, then the ballot, then the second resolution.
Got
And
it.
then do the same thing for item C.
Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna work on B first. Anybody have any comments or questions for clarification before I open up the public comment? All right, let's open up the public comment. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak? Or public
No,
hearing,
sir.
I should say. IT?
No, sir.
Anybody in the room now wishing to speak on this item? Okay, we're going to close the public hearing. If there are no further questions from council, I'll call for a motion on the first resolution. Motion by Councilman Rabb, second by Mayor Pro Tem Corona. Please call a roll call vote.
Councilmember Nava?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona?
Yes.
Councilmember Rabb?
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers?
Yes.
Mayor Vargas?
Yes,
5-0, motion approved.
thank you. Madam Clerk, we now open up the ballot.
Community Facilities, District Number 2001-3, North Paris Public Safety of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 47, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'll call for a motion on the second resolution. I have a motion by Councilman Rabb, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call a roll call vote.
Councilmember Nava?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona?
Yes.
Councilmember Rabb?
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers?
Yes.
Mayor Vargas?
Yes,
5-0, motion approved.
very good. All right, moving on to item 11C. Are there any questions or comments from council before I open up the public hearing? Seeing none, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do I have any requests to speak from the public?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience at this time wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll call for a motion on the first reading. I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Mayor Pro Tem Corona. Please call roll call vote.
Councilmember Nava?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona?
Yes.
Councilmember Rabb?
He stepped out to the restroom.
Councilmember Rogers?
Yes.
Mayor Vargas?
Yes.
We would have to wait.
No, he just
For
said
what?
he stepped out, so just
Okay.
4-0 or 4-1 absent.
4-1 absent.
Can he place his position when he comes back?
He left the room for a minute, so it can move forward with the vote that you just
Yeah,
made.
I mean, it passed, so,
It's up to you.
yeah, that's fine. Okay, 11D is consideration to adopt proposed resolution of necessity number, next in order.
This one also requires the ballot in the middle, item C,
Oh, I jumped up, no, you're right.
and then a vote on the second resolution.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can you open the ballot, please?
Community Facilities District Number 2018-02, Public Services District of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 9, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes.
Thank you. Okay, Council, and I'm now entertaining a motion to approve on the second resolution. I have a motion by Councilman Rabb, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call roll call vote.
Councilmember Nava?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona?
Yes.
Councilmember Rabb?
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers?
Yes.
Mayor Vargas?
Yes,
5-0, motion approved.
thank you.
I briefly stepped out. Is there any way to add my yes vote to the first vote, or is
I
it-
personally don't see any reason why.
Okay.
Mr. Dunn?
You would just like to make sure that you're on the record as
Yes vote.
a yes vote?
Yep.
I think that's fine.
Okay. Just if you can put me down as a yes on the first one. I just had to.
All right, 11D is consideration to adopt proposed resolution of necessity number next in order to acquire a drainage easement located at 467 East 7th Street between South Redlands Avenue and South G Street. This item will be introduced by our city attorney, Mr. Eric Dunn.
And actually, Mayor, I'd like to introduce Dennis Law. He was here at a council meeting previously on a similar item, and he will give the presentation.
Yes, thank you, Eric. Good evening, council members, honorable mayor, city staff. Thank you for your time. I was here back in early January 2022 regarding the same drainage easement that's being presented here to the council tonight, which is for the benefit of the Public Works corporate yard. If the council recalls, a resolution of necessity was adopted on January 11, 2022, approving the city attorney's office to start eminent domain proceedings for an easement over a 300 square foot area at the adjacent property, and that was to facilitate the city yard's drainage. Quick background, the city yard property slopes to the east from the street level, and when it rains, puddling occurs throughout that area. So the city's plan was to do certain grading work such that the water will all collect in one area on the city's property, then drain onto a portion of the adjoining property, the 300 square foot area, which comprises of vacant land. After the council passed the resolution of necessity in January, my office learned that the property was sold to a new owner. The new owner is an entity by the name of 4D Industrial, Inc. Accordingly, we were not able to file the eminent domain litigation. We had to restart the whole process. including sending a formal offer letter to the new owner for $2,500 for the easement. That's the appraised value. We never received a response on that offer letter, and so staff is recommending to proceed with this resolution to authorize the city's attorney's office to bring eminent domain proceedings with respect to the new owner. It's important to note that passing this resolution, as I mentioned in January, does not mean or preclude any settlement possibilities with the new owner. In fact, I've had a couple of conversations with the new owner's agent. She might be present in the audience, actually. But until that point, until we can forego the need for actual eminent domain litigation, we'll have to proceed with the resolution. If we can go to the PowerPoint, please. So in order for the council to approve acquisition of the easement, the council must make 4 findings before my office can file eminent domain proceedings. It's not turning. Oh, there we go. The first finding the council must make is whether the public interest and necessity require the project, and certainly here, the easement is for the benefit of the corporate yards, facilitating its business and operations, and so that first prong is readily met. The second finding the city council must make is that the project is planned and located in the manner that will be most compatible with the greatest public good and the least private injury. Here again, we're talking about a vacant property. It's a 300 square foot area. No development has occurred there. I checked with Mr. Fung, and no development application is pending, and so that second prong is met. The third factor, whether the property sought to be acquired is necessary for the project, and yes, again, the property slope is such that puddling issues occur whenever there's rain, and so a change of grading is needed in order to rectify that puddling. And then finally, the last factor that the council must find is that the city did offer a section 7267.2 offer under the government code to the owner of record, and here we made that offer on March 18th, 2022 to the new owner. And so all of those 4 factors are met, and subject to the council's approval, we can start eminent domain proceedings with the new owner. Any questions?
Thank you, Dennis, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Council, does anybody have any comments, questions for clarification? Okay, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
IT?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. I'll call for a motion on the resolution. I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Councilman Rabb. Please call roll call vote.
Councilmember Nava?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Corona?
Yes.
Councilmember Rabb?
Yes.
Councilmember Rogers?
Yes.
Mayor Vargas?
Yes,
5-0, motion approved.
thank you. Item 12 are business items. We have none this evening. Takes us to item 13, which is our council communication. Councilwoman Nava?
Thank you, Mayor. That came up quick.
Yeah.
Pretty brief meeting today.
Dodgers are playing.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll make sure to make this brief. So first of all, thank you all for the public comments today that we had. Thank you so much for that. I had the opportunity yesterday to participate in the Memorial Day ceremony along with some of our council and city staff here at the Paris Valley Cemetery. And once again, as always, a very special thank you to all of those who pay their ultimate sacrifice and service to our country. I also had the opportunity to attend the State of the City, where I received so much great feedback about the event, and it was very well attended. I have requested for staff and received confirmation that we will be sharing the programming on our social media sites and hopefully our Channel 3. So if you have the opportunity, I encourage you all to check that out. It was very well executed, and our very own mayor gave really great updates about what is happening here in the city of Paris. So if you have the chance, like I said, please do check that out. It was a very well executed and planned event. And then also, it's been a pretty busy time between now and the last council meeting. We took a trip up to the ICSC conference. The mayor, along with city staff, had the opportunity to meet with several businesses such as retails, grocers, and eateries. So as that unfolds, I am really excited, and I look forward for you all to learn about what all those new opportunities are coming here to the city of Paris. So we were hard at work, and we received some very great positive feedback about that. So very optimistic about all our meetings. And as was mentioned by our YAC, here at City Hall, we had our amazing students participate in the Empowering Your Mind Youth Conference, which is very prevalent, especially with what we see happening here in our country. And I am really, really grateful and thankful that our city, and along with various stakeholders and Love for Life, are taking initiative to begin having these conversations with our youth. Mental health will affect us all at one point in our lives, and it is extremely important for our youth to be able to recognize and seek the help that they need as early as possible. And those are all the comments I have for tonight, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rogers?
Yes, I'd just like to take a moment to congratulate all of our seniors this year who are graduating from our various high schools. I know it was a wonderful experience to be back to in-person graduations again, and I just wish them the best of luck and success on their future endeavors as they go on to either community colleges or four-year institutions. And I know they will make the residents and the citizens of Paris very proud of what they will accomplish at their next venture. And that's my comments for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Rab?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Vargas. I'd like to thank the public's commenters for giving their public comments today, especially Mr. Marin. A lot of things he's said today, he's reached out to myself along with Councilman Corona over the last year. I think we should move forward and looking at ways to reduce parking minimums. I know we did increase the minimum at the apartment complexes a few years ago, given to the spillage out onto the Nuevo Road, a particular apartment. We did it for all future apartments, but perhaps when looking at shopping centers, we can look at decreasing the parking minimums. I know Spectrum Center, it seems like it's extremely wide. Now we're starting to, build in, fill it in. It's a little bit better now, but it's something we could look into along with more walkable communities. I too would like to congratulate all the seniors graduating from high school and all the people graduating from college. Your life was completely impacted. Over 2 years of your high school or college career was impacted by COVID-19 and having to study from home, but you guys persevered, you made it through. So I want to congratulate all of our high school, college graduates, all the kids promoting from 8th and 6th grade and kindergarten and preschool. Once again, I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you. And that concludes my comments for today.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. The State of the City event was very, very great event. I do want to give special thanks to our staff for putting on a great event. Special thank you also to the Paris Valley Chamber of Commerce, and a special thank you to our very own mayor who did a great job in the hosting. Yeah. With the Memorial Day event was a great event as well too. I did attend that on Memorial Day in the morning, hosted by our VFW and American Legion, and it was just a great event to honor the memory of our fallen heroes. In lieu of the public comments, and I'm not talking about from the respectful comments from Mr. Marine, but we may need to reconsider of possibly placing the public comments towards the end if it kind of continues to be kind of a, just a show out there. And if it continues after that, we might need to consider going back to in-person meetings. I do want to also congratulate all the graduates in the entire city. Whether you're just starting out, graduating from preschool or kindergarten, or promoting from elementary or middle school, or graduating from high school, or getting your degrees at college or beyond. A big congratulations to you all, and the whole entire city is very proud of you. And lastly, our hearts go out to all the victims of the tragic events in Buffalo, New York. and in Uvalde, Texas. Of course, we do want to give our hearts and prayers to the victims, but I do believe that certain action needs to be taken as well. With being a city, we are limited in the scope of what we're able to do. But if there's any legislation that's coming up that would want a letter of support from the city, I think it's good that we do have a voice in that matter. As a responsible gun owner myself, and the majority of our residents who are responsible that do own firearms in their city, I do support anybody who's responsible to be a firearm owner. If they're using it for self-defense or for hunting, but I do also agree with the majority of Americans who feel that we do need to have some control to ensure that the firearms are out of the hands of dangerous people. So with that said, I think those are my comments today. And if we could close tonight's meeting in memory of all the lives lost. That's all. Thank you.
Duly noted already. Thank you. All right. I'll try to be brief and not repeat. We had our employee spring event at the Big League Dreams. That was a really good event. I believe Mayor Pro Tem showed up to that one as well. Hot day, but it was still a nice event. It's a good time for our employees to take their hats off and have a good time for a few hours. May 14th, I celebrated with May Ruth McGarity, her 100th birthday. So happy birthday again to Miss Ruth McGarity, Paris resident. Visited St. James Lester School. Mayor has a 5-point challenge. I can't tell you what the 5 points are because then the kids will copy that and write it down. But I have 5 points that I challenge when I go to the schools. This is K through 5s for the elementary school. The kids can remember those 5 points the next time I visit. I present them with a key to the city. So this current month, it actually happened a few months ago with the pandemic and everything, kind of delayed things. But Miss Natalie Natera, 3rd grader, and Sophia Rodriguez, 6th grader, caught me off guard. They both knew my 5 points verbatim, so they were issued key to the city. So I congratulate them both. You guys forgot about our senior prom. We had a wonderful senior prom for our seniors. It was a casino night. Heavy gamblers, those seniors. It was really fun. They all got $500 free play money. The mayor had about $1 million on the side. And I kept passing out $500 bills, so they just had a really good time. And as usual, I thank staff for putting on such a great presentation. ICSC was good. We did announce on Facebook that Panera Bread is officially signed up. There's some other things down the road. We can't release information yet, but they'll be coming down. Paris Menifee Student of the Year Awards. We just attended that. Career Day presentation at Good Hope Elementary School, and then another 100-year birthday is coming up. I'm not going to be here this weekend for the party, but I went to go visit Miss Lena McFarlane. She's turning 100 years old. I issued her a key to the city and apologize for not being able to be at her party, but I believe Councilwoman Nava is going to step in my place to present her a proclamation from the city of Paris. So happy birthday to Miss Lena McFarlane. And then lastly, this past Saturday, we had the annual Mott Museum annual open house. It's always a pleasure to go visit those antique cars at the Mott Museum. I didn't say final, I have another page. This will be my final one. This is directed to staff. The Avalina Project, which is by Pulte Homes. So I don't know about council, but I'm just getting inundated with calls and emails from complaints. We issued the builder a notice of default in September of 2020. They're still not done. It's not a good sign considering we have another Pulte project in the north. I'm a little worried about that one. Apparently they're not taking us seriously. We do have a lot of residents that are not happy. They initially started making some improvements when they first received the notice of default, and then they slipped and then started not moving or moving at a very, very slow pace. So I believe the city needs to move forward with this default on their bond to get this project. We can't even take over as a city and clean our streets and do our landscaping, what have you. There's some issues with the walls being too short, people looking right into people's yards, so we issued a notice of default. I think we need to stand by that and have the city attorney progress with that, so we get these homes finalized. All right, with that, I'll end my piece and go to item 14, City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. I'd like to remind everyone that the Paris City Hall COVID-19 testing site continues to be open Thursday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Also, the City of Paris would like to invite everyone to their 21st annual Rods and Rails event taking place on Saturday, June 11th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Southern California Railway Museum. The event is free. There will be live entertainment, a classic car and motorcycle show, free kid activities, and lots of raffle prizes. And lastly, the California's consolidated primary election day is June 7th. There is a ballot drop-off box at the city clerk's office, and there are 4 voting centers throughout the city of Paris. You can visit www.voteinfo.net for more information on these voting locations. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 15 is our adjournment. And this evening, we will be adjourning in memory of the victims and families of the Uvalde, Texas Robb Elementary School shooting that occurred on May 24th, 2022. I mean, what more can we say? This is enough is enough, as everybody keeps saying, but this is another bad tragedy in our nation, and we send our thoughts to all the families of the victims. With that, we're done this evening. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Be safe, and we'll see you next time.